Hello, welcome. So a little bit different video than we normally do. Something a little bit different. And I wanted to kind of give you a little bit more of like a documentation style process of some things we're doing. So here at the farm, fish store, retail store, whatever you want to call it, things have been doing pretty good for us. We've decided to expand into some new spaces. And I know I've told a lot of people we're expanding. And we're still quite a little bit behind, but it should be picking up real quickly now that we've got some stuff moved out. But I want to kind of give you a sneak peek into our very basic, low-tech system rack building, and then a sneak peek of some new products we're going to be carrying, which we're excited to carry. I think they're probably some of the best on the market and the most price competitive out there, and I'm really excited we're going to be able to carry these. So let's check them out. All right. So first off, things are not going to look super great. I understand that. We're still literally in the very beginning of building stuff out like this. So let's just kind of pan through and look through some of the stuff. So it's another 800 square foot of space that we're going to be working with. We've got a lot of roof damage we've got to repair. Some other things that have come up that we didn't realize was a thing. Why am I out of focus? There we go. So anyway, This is our rack system, so we're going to put in 3 racks, and there's a lot of fittings. So what I forgot to say is there's 3 racks. You'll see a bunch of water lines we put in. We put one big air line that's going to go to all 3 systems at the top that will run behind all of the tanks. So you can see at some of the tanks we don't have traditional bulkheads. We actually got male adapter fittings because that's all would fit the size hole we had for those tanks. All right, so the plan right now is, like I showed you just a minute ago, is those 10-gallon tanks. We're going to try to put, oh man, it's going to be 48 tanks on each rack. We'll have a 3-tiered rack. We'll have 2 rows of 10s and a row of 22 longs on the bottom, all really commercial grade tanks. They're not going to look super nice now because these tanks are probably like 20, 30 years old. The problem being was the other tanks we wanted to buy, 1, were incredibly expensive, and 2, the glass was like half as thick. So we were like, well, do we spend $30-40 a tank distributor price to get some tanks in, or do we go and find some old farms that we know and try to get some more tanks and just recondition them and reseal them, check them out, acid wash them? So we chose that route because we think the longevity of those tanks are just much better. They're just a better quality tank. So that's what we did. So everything, just like our last rack, is going to be all sort of this hybrid type system. There's going to be no system connection. There'll be no water recirculating in tank to tank. So I'll kind of sit back down a second. All right, so no, like I just said, it's sort of like a hybrid system. There's not going to be any connection. We're not dripping the water in there. Our water is a little too hard. If you haven't seen it yet, I did make a video going over our last construction on those racks that I just did on our other store when we first started. So if you want to check those out, I'll put a little card up there. Is it there? I don't really know anymore. Look, I'm just new at this, so I'm working on it. So no system. We'll run sponges and everything, sponge filters, and then we'll have water. Everything will have it, we drilled so water can come in and out, and then we'll just have fill valves. And I'll have different ball valves on every level to fill whole rows. I'll have individual valves on every tank. And let me show you the valve we use kind of more up close. All right, so whoop. These are actually the valves we use on everything. And they're called the Gilmore all-in-one on-off control concentrated jet stream. It's mostly used in like irrigation type things. But what we liked about these, first off, we're not connecting any sort of hoses to these. It's U-shaped, so there's no way you're gonna get a hose on there anyway, but we don't need that. We just need it to fill the tank, and we kind of prefer the vigorous aeration because we're on a well, and that also helps a little bit too. But one reason we like these, I don't know, it's just my mentality of how I've always done things here on the farm. I always did things like I didn't have any money. So how I've always done things. And these valves are so much cheaper than anything else I can find. I think I paid like $1 for these, shipped, delivered, everything, like $1. I gotta find the website. I'll put them in links if I can find them. They're just cheaper. If I've got to put ball valves and I've got to fit those, I could put bib fittings on those. By the time I get done, I'm doing 100 tanks. I'm gonna have $5 an outfit. So I'm gonna have an extra $500 in fittings for this, where this literally just gets plumbed in with a little T, and I save a couple bucks. Maybe I save $200-300. I don't know. It's just the way I've always done things. I don't really, you know, I'm not trying to outfit it to be the most sophisticated. I'm outfitted to be the most functional, and this to me save a little bit of money on one end while also being very effective. So that's kind of what we're doing. So every tank will have their we'll have half-inch pipe going through all the tanks, fill them up with these valves, and all the water will be super controllable. Now, as far as heating the water and all of that, that's going to be starting next week. We're going to put the water systems in. We're going to have the two systems that are going to be on these sides here. They're going to be running on the same water system. We're going to run totes for those. We're going to run 3 275-gallon totes. And the way it's going to work is 2 tanks are going to be on the inside and 1 tank's going to be on the outside. And that tank is going to then be filling at night into the tanks inside here. And our goal is not to temperature control each tank, but the room. So we're going to be installing a forced induction heater that's going to go up in the ceiling where it just kind of blows. It's going to be installed with propane. I think the one we bought is a natural gas with a conversion kit because it was just a good deal. And we're just going to mount that up in the ceiling, and it's just going to blow hot air into our room here, essentially, in and when we need it. We don't need it in Florida right now. It's hot, and it's not hot enough in here as it is. So that will be sort of the plan for that. So it's such a mess in here. Like, I don't even want to take a picture of it, but I mean, it'd be kind of cool, I guess. See something. You're gonna see fittings stuff just everywhere. So, like I just said, 3 IBC totes for 2 systems, make sure I got enough water, and then we're gonna run 1 other system outside those 2 racks. I'm not sure how many tanks it's gonna hold yet. We're kind of just building it by ear. It's basically gonna be a more neutral or lower TDS, lower alkalinity, lower pH system, and that's gonna be for some more specialized fish and things we wanna do, or if we wanna remineralize special tanks. So one reason I wanted to do that is a lot of problems, and I know, one, we haven't carried plants in I don't know how long. I'm not really sure when we did plants last, but we want to carry more plants. The problem with a lot of the plants you get in is if you buy them from the farms around here, a lot of them grow above the water. So they have this, you know, they're growing above the water, they grow better, they grow faster, their leaves are bigger, right? They're exposed to more atmospheric CO2. You got to put them, and when you put them in your tank, it melts them back really quickly. Even some of the true aquatic plants, some of those we get and whatnot. So I didn't really want to just sell the plants and say, oh, good luck, and just have them. I really wanted to do it more, I call it the more correct way. I don't know what to call it. So I wanted to put in a more, a lower, I want to be able to control the water for our planted tanks more often, and lowered some of our hard water on some of these, you know, more sensitive style planted tanks, and submerge them and grow them. So basically we deal with a lot more of the plant melt at first than the end user, the customer does. I just think that's a better way to sell plants. It's just a preference of mine. It does cost more, obviously, because we got to maintain a lot more. We can just put it in a tank and sell it. We got a lot more to deal with for that. But I think in the end, it produces a better product. So we are going to sell some plants. I don't think it's going to be huge, but probably maybe 15, 25 varieties, you know, a week, something like that. And then another big one that we really want to do, I'm really excited for, is Carradina Shrimp. So super stoked for doing no one around here does them. It's a harder shrimp to carry. So if you're not familiar with Carradina Shrimp, we're going to make some videos on those. I got an awesome guy who breeds them for a living, and I'm stoked to talk to him about all the shrimp stuff coming up hopefully somewhat soon, so excited for that. But we're putting a system for Carradina Shrimp, and obviously we're going to keep a lot more inverts there too, probably some other Neos and whatnot too if we needed to carry them there. And then what else was going to go in that system? So those 2 things, any sort of wild caught, really, you know, that hasn't been acclimated, you know, from the Amazon where the water is like real soft, low pH type fish. We wanted to have a water source for that as well, because we are going to be carrying, boom, Discus. Yeah, that's right. We are going to be carrying Discus. At first, we're going to start off with a few wild caught Discus and then some locally bred from a few breeders around here. We do know there's not that many left, but there's a few. We're going to buy from them, which I'm really excited about. We'll start with that for those fish. And then lastly in that system, there's a lot of different things going on in the system, so there's not being a lot of variety because it's not big enough yet, is I want to do brackish water fish. So we're going to do a few tanks of some brackish water fish, some monos, archer fish, puffers, things like that. So we are going to have that also available. So, man, we got a lot of work ahead of us for all of these different little projects. So this is sort of, I guess this is stage 3. So stage 2, when we built those other store, we put 1 rack of tanks up, and that was pretty much it. And then we added another 3 racks of tanks to add another, essentially 60 beta tanks was a big thing, and then 30 22s. And then over here, our bigger expansion in space is basically almost hold 100, almost 110 tanks, I think, when we get done. Probably 125 if I make them small. Something like that will be in here. And then, you know, then we got even some bigger projects happening after that. We already have everything set up for those, but we can't start that till January because it's a lot. It's 10 times more work than this is. This is maybe another 7 to 10 days, I think, till we'll be finished. So that's kind of it. And here, and lastly, those are all the fish systems we talked about, what we're installing, water systems, how we're going to do it. And then as we do them, I will make videos walking you through how we set them up and stuff, which is pretty cool. And then lastly, another big push is we obviously have a lot of people asking for products, different things, and what products to carry, what do you not carry. And coming from the farming side, I know margins very well as far as like what makes sense for us. And then we started moving into the product market, and after using several brands over certain years and different things, I can tell you right now the product market is a much, much more competitive market. There are still some great products out there that are great, but your local fish stores don't make a ton of money on those products because it's just a competitive space out there, and there's a very few people even have those anymore. So we wanted to think outside the box, you know, what would be a good competitive brand or something we could carry that basically are big pain points for a lot of our customers. So the biggest 2 things we saw that we wanted to be more competitive in, and at the very least make a little bit more margins so we don't lose our butt in them, is lights. Lights are incredibly expensive, and heaters. So I have a preference of lights that I use, and if you Google these people on YouTube, you'll find plenty of reviews for them. I bought a bunch of the planted lights. They have other ones, but I'm going to show you the planted ones we're going to start selling. All right. So we are carrying the different Higer products, and here is the Higer Curve Mini Aquarium. It's a 4-gallon kit. I'm super excited to show you guys how they're built, and I think they're really great. We've got a lot of great things going on with that tank. And then we also bought some the heater. So this is the different pinpoint type heaters where they have a thermometer on one end and a heater on the other side, and that's basically to help you keep a more consistent temperature and accurate in your fish tank. Next up, I did buy some adjustable air pumps. If you want to put more sponge filters and you're running multiple tanks, there's going to be some adjustable, really nice air pumps. I've got 4 or 5 different sizes of them I brought in that are going to be great if you're going to start running sponge filters and start using them for multi-tank setups. And then lastly, one of the bigger things we bought were I just mentioned it, is a lot of different lights. Sorry for all the craziness, but I bought a bunch of different lights. I bought all of the planted lights only. I didn't buy the other ones because I thought these were that nice. They're all programmable, all LED. You can set them up. I'm going to do a video unboxing on how to set these guys up, and I'm just really excited to carry them. They're really nice and a great made product. Boop. Hey, so if you guys don't know, I did do a little bit of videos of unboxing some of the titles. I never really put out that we sell them, but we are going to start carrying the titles. I think I have their whole line now in stock, so maybe by the time I put this video out, I will have them all on our website. But if you don't know, mean, I gotta link another video in here. You gotta look and check out my title video. Titles are my favorite hang-on backs. Titles and aqua clears are my two favorite filters in the entire hang-on back as far as market goes. So pretty excited for, you know, the beginning of some cool products we're bringing in. I am gonna do sort of a breakdown or review of those different products I showed you from Higer. One of them I'm really excited about, not gonna lie, the 4-gallon little mini aquarium. I know it's a nano tank and there's talks about what can go in it and all that sort of stuff, but I can tell you right now, I don't know of a cleaner, cost-effective, nicer, more well thought out tank than that tank. And I'm gonna break down all the things it does in a new video probably next week. I'm gonna set 2-3 of them up in my for personal use, to be honest. I'm gonna set a few of them up. My wife wants one, so we're gonna set them up, go through the different, what they look like, lights, all that sort of thing, break it down, and then kind of go from there. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, got some value out of it, it'd really be helpful if you just liked, subscribe, hit the little notification bell. I'm trying to put out new videos every week. We put out a podcast on Thursdays, a blog post on Fridays, and I do some other sort of video on Saturday mornings. So keep up with us. We got a lot of content coming at you, some cool guests coming on the podcast, and let me know what you want to see, what questions you got that I could answer for you. Till next time, I guess I'll see you guys later.